Hello, my name's Dan Dodds. I'm a family law attorney in Surprise, Arizona. Today, I'd like to give you just a brief introduction to the concept of spousal maintenance. What is it? Should I be afraid of it? How do they decide how much I might or might not have to pay? So let's dive into this a little bit. Essentially, spousal maintenance, the first criteria is how long you've been married. If you've been married less than 2 years, currently, before you filed, the door is not open for you to even request it. But if you've been married more than 2 years, then the court will consider it if one of the parties is asking for spousal maintenance. If you look at the factors, there's a number of them, but I'll just talk about 4 of them that are most frequently looked at. One is, and I just mentioned it, the duration of the marriage. If you've been married more than 2 years, up to whatever, the answer is yes, the court would look at it. Then how do they determine how long would I, if it was me, how long would I have to pay my wife or how much? Well, they look at the financial resources available to both of the parties that they have available, either because they have separate property that wasn't community property that was theirs to begin with, or their fair share of the community property. And they look at that and they say, can the person enjoy a reasonable lifestyle somewhat similar to the one that they enjoyed when they were married? And if they can, or the court determines they can, there will be no spousal maintenance awarded. But if they can't, then the court would probably take a look at it. Now, what do they look at? Well, basically 2 factors. The standard of living that the couple enjoyed while they were married. Let's take vacations. Did they go with their trailer 2 weeks a year up to Pine Top to fish, or go visit a national park every so often? Or did their lifestyle allow them to go to take these extravagant European boat trips up the Rhine River? And so the reality is, what was the standard of living? Did they live a rather conservative lifestyle, or were they, had a lot of resources and they had fancy homes and boats and trucks and trailers and cabins? Well, they look at that. Then they say, after the community property and considering the separate property, are both parties capable of leading a reasonable lifestyle that's similar to the one they enjoyed when they were married? And if they can, there will be no spousal maintenance awarded. If they cannot, then the court would be looking at it and they would say, okay, how much would one party have to pay the other to maintain that level of reasonable lifestyle, and how long? Well, there's a sliding scale, and I'm not going to get into it today, but for every year you're married up to, I think, 9 or 10 years, there's a maximum number of years or months I have to pay. And after that, it's based on need. But one of the things they look at, it's usually marriages of somewhat long duration that are dealing with spousal maintenance. They look at the age and the health of the person who's asking for it. So, for instance, if the wife says, well, I'm 82 years old, I've got arthritis terribly, and I've just been diagnosed with stage 3 stomach cancer, and I won't have enough money to take care of myself. Would that be a factor that a court would look at? Absolutely. But let's take a younger couple that's only been married maybe 10 years. And let's say that the husband worked at Walmart and the wife's a neurosurgeon. The reality is, okay, that in itself is not an factor all by itself. But what if I have stage 3 colon cancer? So the reality is they would look at the age and the health of the parties and the resources they have, and then they would determine how much do we have to order and for how long would we order them to pay so that they can maintain a reasonable lifestyle. Now, there are a couple things that would end that spousal maintenance. One is the person receiving it remarries. That ends it. What if the person that is paying it dies? That ends it. So both people are staying alive, then typically the spousal maintenance would carry on till one of those two factors happened, or they timed out because of I told you earlier, it can go for so many years and months. So any of those three factors could stop spousal maintenance. Well, I hope this information is somewhat helpful. Spousal maintenance is not something to be frightened about. It's not awarded like candy at Halloween. But when it's a need, the court will award it. Well, I hope you have a good day. If you have some questions, feel free to give us a call.